Once again, it's a wonderful day to be a Pokemon fan. Not only do we keep receiving news every week on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but also on Pokemon Legends Arceus. And today is no different. We have received full gameplay trailers on the newly revealed Pokemon Hisuian Zorua and Zoroark. You know what that means. Time to dissect and analyze this footage. For starters, they're using my favorite Pokemon Legends music for this trailer, which I'm really happy about. That aside, I want to point out the plants in the snowy area. I personally really love their shape, and how Pokemon Legends is holding true to keeping vegetation in different areas unique. I don't believe we've seen this foliage grow in any other area in Legends. Next, let's look at Zorua himself. At first, you'll notice he's running around and doing movements that let his personality shine through. This is exactly what we've seen other Pokemon like Hisuian Growlithe do in previous trailers. It really is nice having the Pokemon feel so alive when they're just chilling in their habitats. Next, let's take a look at Zorua's head. We know he's a normal ghost type, now being labeled the spiteful fox Pokemon. But what's cute is that the model reflects his ghostly powers with how the fur on top of his head wisps like a ghostly flame, as well as his fur scarf around his neck. So cute. As for the spiteful title, I find this quite interesting because Zorua seemed rather innocent in the found footage trailer, looking like he even felt bad for the researcher that Zoroark scared off. What's spiteful about that? Best not to think about it too hard, I guess, as Zoroark can easily be labeled as spiteful, if not just overprotective. Although Zoroark is actually labeled the baneful fox Pokemon, which means destructive. So perhaps there's more to these Pokemon that we just don't know yet. I'm sure our Pokédex entries will be filled with interesting descriptions. Zorua shows off some moves though. I love this hand-drawn animation Zorua makes doing whatever move this is. Very fitting for an innocent yet scarily powerful Pokemon. Next, we see him use what looks like a psychic type move. Once again, I love the effects on this, even if it is a bit standard by comparison. By the way, if anyone knows what move this is or any of the moves used in this trailer, please do let me know down in the comments. The most important detail to notice here though actually has to do with Swinub. When getting hit, he doesn't simply freeze on a frame and hold still while taking damage. Rather, we see him actually flailing the entire time the move is activated on him, as well as wind-blowing effects through his fur for the duration. Thank goodness! I love the attention to detail on making sure animations are much more interesting this time around, especially since Pokemon has been long overdue for these kinds of touch-ups. Congrats, Game Freak! Now, we're blessed with footage of the gorgeous Hisuian Zorua. Those ghostly wisps are taken to the extreme as every strand of hair Zoroark has weaves outward like a flame. The amount of movement in this Zoroark model is amazingly eye-catching, and I can't get enough of it. We get to witness Zoroark use a ghost type attack on our Gardevoir, creating a super effective sound effect. Even cooler, we stood a little too close to our Pokemon for comfort. As a product, we got knocked down as well. This isn't the first time we've seen this happen. However, it's still unclear if our player character takes actual damage in battles when this happens, and not just outside of them. We still have yet to see the ink on the borders of the screen pop up like they would in the overworld when getting hit by a Pokemon. Regardless, this guy just learned his lesson the hard way to not throw his Pokemon out too close to himself. Speaking of things we've seen before though, this is our second time being able to see our player character covered in frost. I wonder if this has any impact on the gameplay, or if this is just visual. I'd love it if we had to fight the cold somehow, similarly to Breath of the Wild, but I'm also just happy the frosted effect is in the game at all. Next, we see Zoroark do a fierce roar while looking fashionable as heck before playing with Zorua. I wonder, can Pokemon really interact with each other in the overworld like this? And if so, is it both a wild Pokemon and our own Pokemon? Perhaps these are two Pokemon we've caught and thrown out into the open, and they're interacting with each other. Or perhaps this is just what they do before we catch them. Only time will tell. We're inching closer and closer to Pokemon Legends Arceus' release day. So, in the meantime, let's talk about all these new developments down in the comments section. Until the next video, guys, peace out.